Yeah, thanks a lot.
So that was a talk about Senza, and now it's time to talk about our showcase startup, which is from the logistics tech sector. It's like an Uber of trucking. Yes, we're looking at the logistics tech sector today through Raaho, which says it's India's fastest growing marketplace for intercity trucks. It also said it aims to improve the lives of truckers and drivers by leveraging technology and data science for freight matching. Raaho claims to create liquidity through its marketplace-based instant trucking and tracking solutions. Load is made available nearby to trucks, and trucks are made available to nearby shippers within 30 minutes. It further says it has also helped reduce carbon emissions by 500,000 kilograms so far. Now, organizing and powering logistics with tech-based solutions is an up-and-coming sector in India among startups, and let's find out now how the sector has been progressing and what lies on the road ahead with Raaho's founder and CEO, Imthiaz. Imthiaz, welcome to India Ideas. Tell us first about Raaho. How is it working to bring the cost of logistics down in India close to the global mark of 7% of GDP instead of the current 14% of GDP? That's twice the proportion.
Thank you, Gautam. Good evening, and thank you for inviting me to the show, right? So when we look at logistics, while logistics is 14%, we have to understand that 60-65% of that is transportation, and 60% of transportation today is trucking, whereas, while it's a road transportation, which is largely trucking, and then the rest is, railways and air and water is quite less, right? So when you look at trucking, which is actually, if you look at overall to the GDP, 6-7%, is much higher compared to the other parts of the world today. How do you bring down? What is the reason for such high cost? I think over the last few years, some things have really improved in India. Number one, I think some of the roads have really improved in this country.
Yes.
Things like the check posts with GST have been removed. So clearly, the trucks could do more kilometers. But one big area which is still a big issue in trucking is the number of middlemen. From a customer who wants a truck, let's say a shipper, to the trucker who owns a truck, there are multiple middlemen. The idea is that most of these middlemen who do the so-called matchmaking is being done offline.
Right.
And it's still done with books and registers, and there is no technology or digitization that has been used here. And that's really where Raaho comes into the play, where the whole idea is to how can you bring all of this in a digital platform where a shipper can say, I want a truck, and where a trucker can say, I want a truck, and the nearest truck which is available can be attached to that particular load, a la Uber, and you could actually save a lot of time and also distance. The fundamental way in which you can reduce the cost, right? End of the day, if you want to reduce the cost, you have to look at the wastage today. One of the big wastage areas today in trucking is, we call it a dead mile, which means how much of a kilometer did a truck travel where the cost is incurred, but there is no revenue.
Yes.
Let me take an example today, because a typical broker, an offline broker, there are 100,000 offline brokers in India, right? A typical offline broker has few customers and few suppliers, and when he needs a truck from his customer, he looks at his limited pool of truckers,
yes,
right? Think of a pre-Uber era where you would just go to one car parking area and pick up a car,
Got
right?
it.
In this case, the broker sends the truck wherever it is to the loading point. Case in point, a truck would be required in, let's say, Noida to Chennai. A truck might be coming from Manesar to Noida, which is almost reverse, a 70 kilometers, which is up and down 140 kilometers, and not to add the day loss because of
Yes,
night entry and check post. You will see a lot of wastage. So
So clearly you do much better matchmaking, but it's not just about cost, it's also about how timely and efficient the service is, whether it's truly door-to-door or not. How's that being ensured?
So when you digitize everything, when you remove the human intervention, you will of course improve a lot of efficiency. For example, let's talk about efficiency. Our time taken to give a truck could be less than an hour in our case. Most of our trucks, all of the trucks are reach on time. Every truck can be tracked by a customer. So they call it so-called chick of getting a truck, or tracking a truck is gone. The number of calls the driver gets, asking a very simple question, ke gaadi kahan hai? All
Yes.
of that is gone, right? So one of the problems that a truck driver always says is, bhai ji gaadi chala rahe hain aur itne phone call aa rahe hain ki kahan ho aap, right? So I think that's gone. So you bring in a lot of efficiency, not only in terms of cost, but overall experience improves, and thereby I think you make life better for a trucker or a driver.
Certainly. Now, how is business for Raaho going, and how does it stack up along with the overall sector of logistics tech startups? And the COVID phase was really tough, but is the sector now well past that particular phase now, back to pre-COVID levels?
See, if you look at it, 2 crore trips happen in a month in this country for intercity trucking. And what's gone digital, in our view, is less than 10,000. So it's really the start. If you ask about Raaho, we have grown almost 5 times in the last 12 months. It's been a crazy good time because everything has gone digital, right, in this country. Have you gone, so pre-COVID, from a pre-COVID level, we are 4 times higher. So clearly
Wonderful.
digitization is here, and digitization is here not necessarily for trucking, but its overall way of life. It has become, whether it's for a trucker or a driver. So I think we are getting benefited, and we believe that we're just starting, and a large part of this industry will get digitized in the next couple of years.
And the problem of cash is also being solved through digitization, because cash was a bit of a hindrance in trucking, wasn't it?
So it was a big hindrance. So, a few years back when we started this business, one of the reasons why a trucker would go to a broker is that broker would give cash to a truck driver, and a truck driver will use this cash to, fill fuel or to pay for toll. Now that's gone, right? And that's a huge benefit to us, because even a truck driver today, thanks to, like the Paytm, right? Everybody seems having a Paytm.
Yes.
A truck driver actually fills his fuel through a digital, product. FASTag has happened, so there's no need for cash for toll. So when the cash
Correct.
goes away, and thanks to GST, the whole market has got formalized, right? So there are a lot of tailwinds for this business, starting with GST, then happened digitization, then the whole, banking. And, very honestly, COVID has been a silver lining, because a lot of truckers suddenly have started using, mobile, app. They've gone digital for other parts of their life, whether it's for, shopping, whether it's for education, or whether it's
Yes.
for, online orders. So
Yes, I wanted to ask you about that, because I
was.
was wondering, how has adoption been? Has it worked particularly with truckers who may not have been comfortable initially in using an app to get their, assignments, their trips? Have they readily taken to it now?
That's a good question. So, let me throw some data which I just came to know today, shared by a Google executive, that this is the first time that the rural internet population, right, the number of users using in rural India internet is more than the urban India. That's a huge one. So you would assume that a trucker or a driver is in the rural India.
Yes.
We have seen that this change has happened rapidly. So this change has happened. Let me give you an example of what a truck owner once said. That when I asked him, saying, how is it that aap aajkal, app use karne lag gaya? And he said this in Hindi that, mera beta actually mobile phone se padhta hai, online padhta hai. Right? Hum bhi Amazon ya, se order karte hain. So what has happened is that most of these people have now moved to the app. It started off with using, let's say, lifestyle product, let's say a WhatsApp or a YouTube or videos. And then he suddenly realized with COVID, he was forced to, let's say, education has happened, online ordering has happened.
And
So
and
that
network
shift-
is also no longer an issue. Up to 5G bhi aane wala hai.
Also, of course, smartphone penetration is been crazy in this country, and data is booming. Like, a truck driver and a trucker has a lot of time when he's sitting at the loading point. So he's using internet a lot. So internet, of course, is like the infrastructure that's required to power most of these products. And today, every trucker and driver has a smartphone, and this is going to go digital big time.
Wonderful. Now, do you think the kind of tech Raaho has developed could be used for other logistics operations as well, apart from intercity trucks? Are there any plans of taking, Raaho beyond trucking?
So let me break this in two pieces. So will our tech get used? So if really the whole, let's say, if you go back to the first question, if the logistics cost has to come down, then most of these pieces, let's say in trucking, you have a first mile, middle mile, and last mile, right?
Yeah.
We are seeing what we have today already happening in some form in the intra-city space. So if you want to bring in overall efficiency, you have to look at the whole logistics have to move into what a Toyota would call it a Kanban or just in time, right? And for just in time to happen, your first mile, your middle mile, and the last mile, all of them have to go digital. All of them have to, the data that will come from the digitization of all three will help in improving efficiency in warehousing, in supply chain, and then of course
Certainly.
in transportation. So we see that improve with Raaho. Will Raaho move into other things of trucking? I think trucking is a very, very large space. We would love to stay focused and make Raaho a super app for trucking as we go along.
Great, wonderful. Well, all the more power to you, and let's hope that logistics tech in India really gets the kind of space that it should, because there's a lot of room to grow, and it will solve a lot of problems as well, bring in a lot of efficiencies. We've not talking about the environment, but I think that is something that will be a huge benefit too in terms of cutting down carbon emissions.
Yeah, so Gautam, as I told you, the middle mile, if we can remove the wasted travel, there are 25 to 30% of truck travel is actually dead mile, where it's running empty, and that is a huge pollution and a carbon footprint, right? If you reduce that, we will definitely make this a better place. So I always call it, it's Raaho for a better tomorrow, and that should be the real focus. It's a huge opportunity that we have today.
Certainly, certainly. And bringing in the electric mode of travel there would also be a great benefit, although we're still looking for best solutions in terms of to what extent is EV going to be helpful in a country like ours, where there's a lot of vehicles that run on petrol and diesel, and we don't know if we can have as many batteries or electricity in the long run. But let's see, it's early days yet. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment.
Thank you so much,
Imthiaz.
Gautam.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that